So if you've been around this YouTube channel for a while, you may remember this video that we made back in 2016. I recognize that a lot of my demographic is older, but I recognize also some of y'all are younger, and there are many fans that have been tuning into this channel that only got into hockey as recently as, let's just say, the pandemic, or right before the pandemic, 2019, 2018. This territory, 2016 stuff, this is ancient, and it was literally over half a decade ago, so I'm feeling my age when I see this thumbnail, but back in the 2015-16 season, we made a video talking about the Calder race for the NHL's best rookie. And the three nominees in this season were Shane Gostisbehere of the Philadelphia Flyers, Connor McDavid of the Edmonton Oilers, and Artemi Panarin of the Chicago Blackhawks. Now, if you go back to this video, you'll see that I actually wanted Gostisbehere to win just because I was kind of rooting for the defenseman underdog. But Connor McDavid ended up making history for not winning this award. McDavid, everybody knew his reputation coming into the NHL. He was such a superstar prospect in the OHL. He was fantastic, went first overall, exceptional status, all the things that you could get as a generational name. And he only had 48 points in 45 games played in his first season. Now, you could say that point production is great. It's over a point per game. This is a stellar number for a guy who is only 18, but he lost the Calder Trophy to Artemi Panarin. Because in Artemi Panarin's first NHL season, he played with Patrick Kane on the Chicago Blackhawks and had 77 points in 80 games played. Look, I get it, there's a conversation to be had saying that, hey, McDavid was the better player, McDavid was going to have the better career, and I guess you could definitely say that based off of the multiple 100-point seasons, McDavid has had a better career than Panarin has. But back in 2015-16, the fact that Panarin played the full season and had 77 points was better than Connor McDavid having 48 points in half the year. This was a problem, and a lot of people were arguing back and forth because Panarin was also not 18, McDavid was 18, Panarin was like 23 or whatever it was. This guy was playing in the KHL for so long, he signed in Chicago as a UFA, he wanted to play with Patrick Kane, that's exactly what they did, they were so good together. So you could understand why there was a lot of controversy with Artemi Panarin winning the Calder over Connor McDavid, but the fact that Connor McDavid was hurt and the fact that he didn't play the full season was why he lost the trophy. Why did McDavid get hurt? Well, because of one man named Brandon Manning, who isn't even in the NHL or North America anymore. He's playing in the Allsvenskan for IF Björklöven. Brandon Manning was not a superstar caliber player. He was not a top-tier stud. He was not somebody who was at the same level of McDavid at all. So the fact that you had yourselves this hit where Brandon Manning essentially just kind of shoved McDavid into the boards while McDavid was on the rush, this eliminated all of the December and January period of Connor McDavid's rookie year. He stopped playing in November, and then he came back in February. Started dominating the NHL once he was back, he was still good, and he finished off the year with a stellar point production metric. But it was too little too late, and many NHL fans were arguing amongst themselves saying, hey, Connor McDavid was so good, he's going to be better than Panarin. Why does Panarin get the trophy when he's a dinosaur and he played so much with Patrick Kane? Connor McDavid did not have anybody else on his team to ride the coattails off of, so what gives? At the end of the day, that was the verdict, and a lot of people were still frustrated about that even after the trophy was awarded. Connor McDavid went on to win all these awards, everything except for the Stanley Cup, the Conn Smythe, and the Art Ross pretty much. Connor McDavid has won, but in 2023-2024, we may have just seen this situation repeat itself, because you had Connor Bedard get injured recently in a very similar way. And admittedly, this wasn't like predatorial or really bad in the same way that the Brandon Manning hit was on McDavid in 2015. But the culprit here is Brendan Smith, who went out there and pretty much just stood tall for the New Jersey Devils. But now, if you take a look at what happened with Bedard, I mean, everybody's talking about the hit here. He just kind of skates into the guy, and it's not really the most malicious-looking thing. Bedard got hurt. He's on the IR now because of his jaw. And when you talk about the Connor McDavid situation, if you wanted to say that this really is a possibility of repeating itself, you just got to look no further than what Connor Bedard has gone through now. Bedard has been producing pretty well, 33 points in 39 games played, on pace for about 70 points in an 82-game campaign, which would definitely be fine. I mean, it's not the same as what Connor McDavid did. McDavid was over a point per game, but still, I think you could say that the Oilers team that McDavid was playing with, even though it wasn't great, they still had names like Taylor Hall and Draisaitl to do something. Jordan Eberle, Nugent Hopkins. Connor Bedard has nobody. He is above and beyond the best player on this team, and it's not even close. And he's only 18. So the fact is, Connor Bedard, who was probably, I think most people said he was going to be a lock for the Calder Trophy heading into this season, he's having a season worth of the Calder, honestly. Like, you talk about all the other guys who had won the Calder after Bedard, or not after Bedard, after McDavid, excuse me. Austin Matthews, his point production, he had a lot of goals, but he only had 69 points in 82 games played. Connor Bedard is on pace for more points in his rookie season compared to Matthews. Even if you go over to the other guys who had produced points, Matthew Barzal, we're not going to talk about him, he had like 80 points in his first NHL season. Elias Pettersson, when he won the Calder in 2018-19, only had 66 points in 71 games. Connor Bedard is kind of in that same territory. So realistically, if Bedard was just going to go out there and finish off 2023-2024, he probably would have had a legit shot at winning. But now we don't know, because we really don't have a timeline as to how long Bedard's going to be out with this jaw thing. And when you think about the Calder rookie scoring race, I mean, if we talk about it right here, let's go over to the points. Marco Rossi is second with 24. Adam Fantilli has 24. Luke Hughes has 23 points. I could honestly see a world where at the end of the year, let's say Luke Hughes has, I don't know, 35 to 40 points. If he has that many points and Connor Bedard is out long enough that he doesn't really get that many games played, I could totally see a world where Luke Hughes wins the Calder. Brock Faber is an underrated name too, because he, even though he may not have the points as Luke Hughes does, he's separated by 4, Brock Faber has been such an amazing player, already arguably the best defenseman on the Minnesota Wild, such a useful, versatile, and minutes-eating guy. There are so many other rookies here. Marco Rossi, also a rookie. Adam Fantilli has been producing points. You've got Logan Cooley, Bobby Brink all doing their thing. Connor Bedard is number 1, but how long is that going to last? Are we going to have another situation like 2015 where Connor McDavid ends up losing out on the Calder because of an unfortunate injury that was out of his control? Artemi Panarin won the Calder that year, and everybody was pissed off because, hey, we knew he was going to be fine, but he didn't have the season that you could say Connor McDavid had. In fact, if you just isolated it, you disregard the age, you disregard the line mates, you disregard the team, you disregard everything, and you say, okay, what's better? 77 points in 80 games, or what McDavid did, 48 points in 45 games. In the eyes of the NHL voters, they put Panarin on top because the games played and the longevity played a factor. Connor McDavid was taken out because Brandon Manning was not really great at playing hockey and just decided to do this. But in the eyes of the voters, a season where the guy plays the full year and is under a point per game was more valuable than a season where the guy plays only half the year but is slightly over a point per game. And who knows if that's the same philosophy that will be applied to Connor Bedard. Now, everything can change if Bedard just comes back in like 2 weeks and he only misses like 5 games or whatever. He plays 77 games on the year, let's say he gets 70 points, and then all of a sudden we're good. Like, he'll win the Calder, it's fine. But if Connor Bedard is out for an extended amount of time, multiple weeks, multiple months maybe even, because he takes a little bit of time to recover with his jaw, then any one of these rookies could go out there and take over the scoring race and have a season that, in the eyes of the NHL voters, would be seen as more valuable than Connor Bedard's 33 points in 39 games played. Not taking a look at the age, not taking a look at the teammates, not taking a look at the teams or the circumstances, just the season itself. That's why Panarin won in 2015-16, and it's why McDavid has lost out on one of the only trophies that he was ever eligible to win in his first year, and only his first year. Connor McDavid will never have a Calder Award because Artemi Panarin has that instead. It's like the old Crosby-Ovechkin thing where Crosby doesn't have a Calder either because Ovi took it in that year. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section below about the eeriness of this Connor Bedard situation, how 7 years ago we had Connor McDavid get robbed because of an unfortunate injury. How this year, we have Connor Bedard, potentially in the same boat. Maybe this entire thing is going to cost him the Calder Trophy, who really knows? I'd say this hit isn't even as bad as the McDavid one, but it is just unfortunate to see how his jaw ended up colliding with Brendan Smith's shoulder over there. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section below about Connor Bedard and Connor McDavid. I hope you enjoyed this video, and bye.